Hello, this is Mrs. Groves, and today I'm going to go over one of our standards to show proficiency in Algebra 1. The standard I'm going to be going over is Algebra.d, and this is solving linear systems algebraically. There's 4 components, and just as a review, the number 1 is the does not meet. So here we have 2 sample problems for you to practice. And what you want to do is you want to tell whether the point 3, 4 is a solution to the linear, this actually should say system, and explain your decision. So I've written both of the problems out that we have right here. And what you're going to do is you're going to replace x with 3 and y with 4. And we have a system of 2 linear equations, so we must check it in both equations. So we simply go through and substitute for x, the 3. So for the first equation, -4 times 3 plus 2, y is 4, equals -4. And over here on the left-hand side, we get -12 plus 8 equals -4. -4 equals -4. So that means this point is on this line. Now we're going to check the other equation. We have -4, x is 3, plus y, which is 4, equals -8. -12 plus 4 equals -8. -8 equals -8. So because this point is a solution to both of these equations, to explain, 3, 4 is a solution because it checks in both equations. Now, I'm not going to go through number 2. At the end of this video, I'm going to give you the answers to all these problems. And you can also go to my website, and I have these all posted on my website. So for this problem, number 2, you would just find out is 1, 5 a solution by checking both equations. Okay. The next is level 2, which is partially meets. And in this case, you're going to be given 2 problems, and you're going to be told which method to use, which algebraic method to use to solve it. So these are practice problems. You're going to be told for the partially meets to solve a problem using substitution and solve a problem with elimination. So the substitution method means that we take this y, okay, and we're going to replace it. So 4x minus 10 is going to get substituted into this equation for y. So I have negative 4x minus 3. The y is replaced, this y is replaced with, because y equals 4x minus 10 equals negative 18. And now you go through and you solve it. And you know how to solve for x. You're just going to distribute negative 4x, distribute the negative 3, negative 12x, negative 3 times negative 10 plus 30 equals negative 18. Combine like terms, negative 16x plus 30 equals negative 18. Subtract 30. Okay, and you're going to get negative 16x equals negative 48. Divide by negative 16. X equals 3. So we did our substitution. We solved for x. Now we need to find y. So we're going to take this equation right here. Y equals 4. The x is 3. So y equals 4 times 3 minus 10. Do that and I get y equals 12 minus 10 is 2. Okay. And then, because you want to get this right, you want to check. So you're going to go back to the original equations and you check. Check both original equations. Okay. And so I have negative 4 times x, which is 3, minus 3 times y, which is 2, equals negative 18. Negative 12 and negative 6, negative 18 equals negative 18. Cha-ching, it checks. Then I check the other equation. Y is 2 equals 4. X is 3 minus 10. 2 equals 12 minus 10 is 2, and it checks. So for these proficiency standards, you really want to make sure that you're getting the right answers. And to ensure you're getting the right answers, remember to check. All right, the elimination method. In this case, you look at the coefficients. And when you look at the coefficients, right, you look here and you see that these are opposites. Which makes us smile, because all we have to do is add down. The x's are eliminated. We add the y's. Negative 12y equals negative 12. Divide by negative 12. Y equals 1. So that was easy. So now we find x. All All right, we picked the easiest equation. I'm going to take the second one because there's no negative coefficient in front of x, so I think that's going to be easier. So 2x minus 2, replace the y with 1 equals negative 8. 2x minus 2 equals negative 8. Add 2 to both sides. You get 2x equals negative 6. Divide by 2, x equals negative 3. So, it's important to check. And it says, it doesn't say that you have to check, but you should check. So you should at least use your calculator. So I'm going to go through and mentally check this. Negative 2 times x is negative 3, so that's going to be 6. Negative 10 times y minus 10 equals negative 4. Negative 4 equals negative 4, and it checks. Then I'm going to check the second equation. 2 times x, which is negative 6. Negative 2 times y is negative 2 equals negative 8, and negative 8 equals negative 8. Cha-ching, it checks. Now remember, there are 3 methods to solve using the elimination. So this one is the addition. See if you can think, look at numbers 4 and 5, which one is going to be the subtraction method? And if you said number 5, you're absolutely correct, because here the x's have the same coefficient. So I need to eliminate x, so I'm going to multiply one of the equations, and in this case, the bottom equation, times negative 1. And then I'm going to add down. So the top equation I don't do anything with. I get 7x plus 10y equals negative 18. And then I multiply this one by negative 1. So 7 times negative 1, I get negative 7x. 3 times negative 1, negative 3y. 24 times negative 1 equals negative 24. The x's are going to cancel out. I'm going to get 7y equals negative 42. Divide by 7, and y is equal to negative 6. Now, I need to find x. So I'm going to pick the bottom equation because there's no negatives. So 7x plus 3, y is negative 6, equals 24. 7x minus 18 equals 24. Add 18 to both sides. I get 7x equals 20, 30, 42. divide by 7, I get x equals 6. And again, I want to make sure I have the right answer. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to check the first equation with my x and y's. 7 times 6 is 42. 10 times negative 6 minus 60. And that, in fact, 42 minus 60 is negative 18. Negative 18 equals negative 18. It checks. Now I'm going to check the other equation. 7 times 6, again, is 42. 3 times negative 6 minus 18 is 24. And 24 equals 24. That checks. Cha-ching. So this one is called the subtraction method. And now I'm going to do the third problem because this one's called the multiplication method. The third problem is the multiplication method. It's a multiplication method because I look at the coefficients of x and y and then I decide how do I eliminate one variable. And when in doubt, look at the x. So we know that 3 times 4 is 12x, and 4 times 3 is 12x. Now, are you noticing a little problem here? If we add down, the x's are not eliminated. So I have to make one of these negative. So I make that negative 3. So then that's going to be negative 12. 12x minus 12x is going to be 0. It's going to be eliminated. So 4 times 3 gives me my 12x. 4 times negative 9 is negative 36y. 4 times negative 21 is negative 84. Multiply the bottom equation by negative 3. So that's going to give me 4 times negative 3 gives me my negative 12x. 6 times negative 3 is negative 18y. And 8 times negative 3 is negative 24. So I add down, and this is going to give me negative 54y. Here we add these, and that is going to give me negative 108. Divide by negative 54. Two negatives make a positive, and 54 goes into 108 twice. So y equals 2. Now we need to find x. You can pick the first equation, you can pick the second equation. Pick the one that you think is going to be the easiest. The one that usually has fewer negatives is usually the easiest. So here, all right, I want to find x. 4x plus 6, y is 2, equals 8. 4x plus 12 equals 8. Subtract 12. 4x equals negative 4. Divide by 4. X equals negative 1. Okay, so you've got your solution here. And in this case, because I have more room, I'm going to do the check completely out. You check both the x and the y in both original equations to see if you made a mistake. So 3 times x, negative 1, minus 9 times y, 2, equals negative 21. Do the math. Negative 3 plus negative 18, negative 21 equals negative 21. Cha-ching, it checks. Then I'm going to check the second equation. Put little C's in front of each of the checks to make sure that when I review this, can see that you've done the 2 checks, and if you make a mistake, I can figure out where you made your mistake. So here we have 4, x is negative 1, plus 6, y is 2, equals 8. Negative 4 plus 12 equals 8, and 8 equals 8, cha-ching, it checks. So that is the multiplication method. So, substitution method, you have to isolate one of the variables, and then you substitute it back into the other equation. Elimination, opposite coefficients, you add down. Same coefficient, multiply one of the equations by negative 1. And if all the coefficients are different, then you have to multiply both equations, or that is one or both equations, to eliminate one of the variables. So that is the partially meets, and I went through all 4 examples because these are the 4 types of problems that you need to know how to do for the next criteria, which is the meets. The next criteria is meets. And I'm not going to go through these problems because you have a choice to solve the system either with the substitution or the elimination method. And so you go through these problems, and whichever method you think is going to be the easiest for you, but it has to be either substitution or elimination, you solve it that way. So that's the meets, and I'm going to leave those for you to do. Again, at the end of this video, I will show the answers. The exceeds, for those of you that want to know how to do the exceeds, I'm going to do this problem out for you. But if you don't have time to watch this part of the video, you can stop it here, and you can just move it to the very end, and I'll have all of the answers to all the problems. So, Ben's school is selling tickets for a fall musical. On the first day, of tickets sales, the school sold 3 adult tickets and 5 children for a total of $61. So day 1, you want to write your key information. Day 1, they sold 3 adult tickets, 5 kid tickets for a total of $61. So that was on the first day. On the second day, day 2, the school took in $67. Feel free to use these little ditto marks. And they sold 1 adult ticket, 11 kid tickets. So that is the key information that you get from the problem. To define your variables, you go and you look at your question. The question says, find the price of an adult ticket and the price of a child ticket. So we have to define what x and y are equal to. So we can say the adult ticket in dollars and a kid ticket costs so much in dollars. You want to remember the units. Is the units dollars? Is it the number of tickets? Etc. So now, day 1. We write 2 equations. We have a day 1 equation and a day 2 equation. So on day 1, there were 3 adult tickets. 3 adult tickets, and we don't know how much an adult ticket costs, plus 5 kid tickets, and we don't know how much the kid tickets are, so 5y equals $61. The second equation is for day 2. You have 1 adult ticket plus, that's 11 kid tickets, and you made $67. So now we want to solve. Okay. The easiest way to solve this is going to be the elimination method. And if I take this equation and I multiply it by -3, you'll notice 3x minus 3x, the x's are going to cancel out. So I bring the first equation over, 3x plus 5y equals 61. Multiply this, -3x times -3 times 11 minus 33y, -3 times 67, -201. We add down And notice the x's are eliminated. 5 minus 33 is negative 28y. 61 minus 201 is negative 140. Divide both sides by negative 28. I get y is equal to 28 goes into 140 5 times. Now I need to find x. So I'm going to pick the first equation. 3x plus 5, y is 5, equals 61. 3x plus 25 equals 61. Subtract 25. I get 3x equals 36. Divide by 3. X equals 12. So, an adult ticket costs $12 and a child ticket costs $5. Does that make sense? Adult tickets cost more than children's, yeah. But we're going to just either use your handy dandy calculator or, just check it to make sure you have it right. 3 times 12 is 36. 5 times 5 is 25. 36 and 25 is 61. Cha-ching, it checks. Check the other equation. Okay, x, 12, plus 11 times y, which is 5, is 67. 12 plus 55 is 67 equals 67. Cha-ching, it checks. So the final answer in words is adult ticket costs $12 and child ticket costs $5. So the word problem, and I forgot to mention this at the beginning, this is level 4. This is the exceeds. Okay. So here is the answer to the exceeds practice problem. So as I promised, I'm going to show you the answers. The full answers. Or you can go to my website and see them in print format. Here's the answer. To the does not meet. We did all of the partially meets. Here are the answers to the meets. And the answer to this problem got cut off. Okay, so there. I'll make this a little bit bigger. So those are problems 1 and 2. You can pause this if you want to spend more time looking at them. Here again, don't forget you want to check. Here are the answers to 3, 4, and 5. Don't forget to check. And we did this word problem. But we didn't do the second word problem. And here's the answer to the second word problem. And that the word problems are the exceeds. So my advice to you to be successful with this standard is to take your time and check your work. Good luck on the assessment.